I want to use this photograph, and it's probably all blown out. Our faces, we're all white, very white and pale. These are my little sisters and I taking the bus when I was like maybe 19, 20, 18, 19 or 20, maybe even 21. But I'm thinking closer to my late teens. Anyway, we're riding the bus. I think we went to the mall, something. Public transportation, and somebody else was with us, and I can't remember because it's not a selfie. It's somebody taking an actual photo of us. Anyway, I love this open book collection pack by American Crafts. This was from 2014, right? So everybody loved the heck out of it. Everybody knew how to use it. And I loved it so much that I've been hoarding it. But I know more, right? Everybody's trying to use up their stash so we can also play with new things and justify buying new stuff, because that's a lot more fun. So I just finished making, and I'm grabbing it right now. It's hanging on my wall. I just finished making this layout. And it's getting real dark. I don't have a lighting situation figured out yet. I know I need like another lamp or something on this side, but I made this layout, and it's me and my husband having a little smooch right when him and I got married. I guess we eloped. We didn't tell anybody until like maybe a year later that we got married. So I used a bunch. I don't want to say a bunch. I did use a lot of Maggie Holmes ephemera, but in total, I think I just used this piece, and I framed this paper, which is this paper. So yeah, about maybe 4 inches of it. And then I know I have that other rose paper. Here it is. I gutted this one out, and I use that. So now, since I didn't use enough paper, and I also was gonna use this heart, and then I messed up, so then I just cut out a backing layer to it, and that's all I ended. Oh, three papers, 1, 2, and 3. I only used 3 papers, but I did use a lot of the ephemera, like the flowers. I ended up using some crate paper labels. I made this lovely layout, and I said I want to use more paper. So I decided to challenge myself, because usually after I work with a lot of the same thing, one layout, then after layout I tend to get bored. But I'm going to challenge myself to use this and to use up more paper. So I'm already going to use this. I already know. I might cut out a few hearts or something out of those to make a contrast between this. See, because these contrast. So maybe some hearts, or maybe more circles, since I have a polka dot paper. And I know I'm going to use these for like layering pieces, because my photo doesn't exactly fit in the heart. And these will also be layering pieces. So I just want to use up more paper and more of this collection. I want to bring in some frames. That's going to be the big challenge here, is to bring in some Maggie Holmes frames, because I got the collection from scrapbooksteals.com when, not recently, but a couple years ago. So anyway, the frames for me are the hardest thing to use. I have used them, but I have to force myself to use them. And so it doesn't come easily to me. So I am going to try to use up some of these frames, and we'll see what we get from there. So I'm going to go ahead and get the process videos. Okay, so I had started with the heart shape already started, and I grabbed one of my Copic markers to kind of outline the heart to give it some sort of definition, so it wouldn't get like blended into the background page. So I went ahead and taped it, and I'm trying to position it just perfectly, because if not, it just bothers me. And I am cutting the picture down even more, but I know that I'm already going to back up the photo with these background papers, like I had said. I do have a general purpose, and I labeled it because I actually found another ATG gun on clearance at Michael's
for like $9. So that was a steal. And here I'm using the text paper. So because the background in my picture is dark, so I wanted a lighter picture before I backed it with any of the other patterns. I do love this floral paper. It is so pretty. And Maggie Holmes just does florals so well. I was planning on using the frames as photo corners. I feel like I can do photo corners so much easier on photographs with frames a lot easier than I can use them as regular frames. But I am trying to use them, and so that's what matters. I do back up another pattern on the behind the photograph that's already matted, and I used my corner punch from We Are Memory Keepers. It was the one for like tickets or tabs or something like that. So I did end up having to use the outer corners of that last mat to use that glitter frame that I had already cut in half diagonally. And I did cut another frame because, like I said, my main focus of this layout was to force myself to use this paper pad once again, back to back with another layout that I had previously done, like I had shown you. And I wanted to use up some tissue to create more, just a different texture. And so I use the tiny attacher here by Tim Holtz to keep all the layers together. And I'm trying to just play with the dimensions of the paper and trying to use them in different corners. And I wanted to tape it, but I realized that trying to use the ATG directly on the tissue is going to tear it up. So here I am also inking up the edges of that mat with the same marker so that I can have some continuity and also add some definition to the picture as well. And I'm doing the color shine shake thing here, which I should have cut out more seconds of. But anyway, I go ahead and add some color shine spray, and I believe I use the Gold Lame, which it was still called Gold Lame when I got the bottle. And then I also used the blush Heidi Swap. And I also end up using the white, but the white just in some of the areas just looks pretty translucent and only shiny or glittery. So I end up gluing the photo corners, and instead of putting them on the far mat, I end up doing it inside and closer to the picture, because then I realize that if I do that to the end, to the most bottom mat of the page, I won't have a place. They'll be clashing with the frames on the outside. So I am trying to figure out my layers, and I realize I make a big mess. I am such a messy scrapper. And I ripped off the mat, and then I had to glue it, and there was glue all over my fingers. But I just keep, persisting, and I just keep on keeping on with the layers in the page. So here I am gluing the rest of the frames, and I do like that peachy colored one. And just trying to put them in different places. I try to match up the ends, but it really doesn't bother me if they don't come out on the other side, like if there's one on the top, it doesn't have to necessarily match up on the bottom. I just want them to be layered effects and have different dimensions and whatnot. So that's why it really doesn't bother me if they don't match up. I try and you can see me here using the T-square ruler to line them up, but that's just really a lost cause. So I'm using the Heidi Swap, it's a Heidi Swap glue, it's called Magic Medium, but it is just to glue the frames so that I can make sure that they stay on there. And let's see here, I brought out brads that I thought I was going to use, but I don't think I end up using them. And I guess I do end up using a brad. I'm not too sure, actually. Let me see. I do have a brad in there, but I guess it was just to hold down the layers. Yep, because I see it on the back of the layout. I used that floral red frame because I want some different pattern so that it won't get lost in that wood grain heart. in the background. And I tried to put in ephemera in the frame, but it wasn't going to fit. So I'm just adding the layers, and I'm trying to shop around for different things to use. That tag was from a Scraptastic Kit Club, and I don't end up using it. And I'm still shopping for different types of stickers and odds and ends. And so here I do put in this paper strip from the paper, and I end up putting it on opposite ends of that fish-tailed piece of paper. And I do like that it brings in that pink to the foreground, because I have it in the background as the from the layered mat, but I like to bring it to the foreground because I do like the texture and the colors that those flowers bring in. I go through I find that black label or frame, because it's like a vellum frame, and I put it on opposite ends of each other to create balance. I like these vellum sayings from Maggie Holmes. They're also from the Open Book collection, and I showed you just earlier on, the thickers that I end up using. And of course they have no more stick. They're not going to stay on there permanently with their own glue, so I do end up using some glue. I glue them on. And I feel like they're just kind of sitting there with nothing to ground them. So I end up bringing in, well, first of all, I end up lining the page because it doesn't have like a solid frame to it, and I wasn't going to mat it with another paper. But I do try and bring in some other stickers, and I needed a label to put my journaling on, and I decided I want to use that label, and it won't work because it's got like a slick surface, so I had to find a pen that would write with it, and I just ended up using a ballpoint pen for it, even though it's not my favorite. And I think, oh, here it is. So I thought those letters were just floating, so I decided, I had seen a video during this time where somebody had, I've seen, what is her name now? I cannot think of her name. I'm having a blank. Gallagher. I cannot remember her name, her first name, but she does super simple layouts, and her last name is Gallagher. Jen Gallagher. And she does super simple layouts, and I think she works for Echo Park, and she does videos every once in a while. But I like her style, and she had wrapped some on a frame. She's done it on the paper. I mean, there's several other people that do it. So I did it near the letters, and I tied a bow around them. And that's pretty much the end of my layout. These are the close-ups I have of the page. If you have any questions or comments, or if you like this video, don't forget to push the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you soon for the next video. Bye.